God says, if you open this first, you will have a huge amount in your hands within 30 minutes. Open it quickly, or it will be too late. But know this, what God means is not just about wealth that can be touched or counted, but about blessings so deep and powerful that they overflow into every part of your life. It's about a kind of richness that changes your heart, your family, your peace of mind, and the path ahead. When God speaks, He doesn't speak in riddles, but He speaks in love. And love, when it comes from heaven, is never small. It comes like a flood, gentle yet unstoppable. He is telling you today, if you open your heart, if you pause and truly listen, something good is already moving your way, and you are not alone, not forgotten, and never left behind. Type 2121 if you believe. There is a quiet place in the soul where the voice of the Lord still whispers, even when the world is loud and restless. Sometimes that voice says things we don't understand in the moment, but it is always right on time. What if opening this was not just a message, but a doorway to faith? What if in this moment you chose to believe, even with trembling hands, that God is about to turn something around for you, not because of who you are, but because of who He is? His nature is unchanging, His heart is gentle, and His timing is always perfect. We don't always know what's coming next, but we do know that God doesn't lie. He doesn't tease us with promises He can't keep. His words never return empty. Every promise has power, and every command carries grace. If He says something is coming, it's already on the way. So trust Him, even if the details are unclear. The hands of God are never late, and His gifts are always wrapped in love. He's seen the tears, the waiting, the prayers said in silence, and the moments when hope felt too heavy to hold. And still, He says, open this first, because there's something meant just for you, right now. If you've ever felt like you've missed your moment, or that everyone else is receiving miracles but you, let this be the day that changes your story. God isn't limited by clocks or calendars. He makes rivers flow in deserts and turns ashes into beauty. He sees your faith, even when it's small, and multiplies it. He hears your quiet prayers and counts them as songs in His heart. And right now, in this very hour, something is being released in your favor that no one can block, delay, or take away. You might not see the full picture yet, but seeds are being planted in the soil of your faith, and soon they will bloom. Maybe this isn't just about money or blessings you can count. Maybe it's about healing that can't be explained, peace that silences fear, or strength to stand when you thought you couldn't anymore. God knows what you need, even when you don't have the words for it. And when He says He's sending it soon, He doesn't want you to worry about how. He just wants you to trust. Type 1111 if you trust in God. There is something beautiful that happens when you say yes to God before the miracle arrives. It's like opening the windows before the rain comes, believing it will fall because the wind smells different. That's how faith works. It opens the door before the blessing knocks, and the Lord is asking you now to prepare, not in fear but in quiet, bold confidence. Your breakthrough is not far away. In fact, it's closer than it's ever been. The reason you feel the weight so heavy today might be because you're standing at the edge of your answered prayers. So lift your head, even if your heart is tired. Breathe in hope, even if yesterday was full of pain. The Lord is not through with your story. His hand is still writing the next chapter, and it's filled with grace, restoration, and joy. You have not been overlooked. You are not waiting in vain. Something good is coming, not because you've earned it, but because you're loved deeply and without limits. That love cannot be shaken by your past, your doubts, or the voices around you. It is steady, it is strong, it is eternal. There are moments in life when the smallest acts of faith create the largest miracles. Maybe opening this message, right here, right now, was one of those moments. Maybe this was the gentle nudge your soul needed to remember that heaven still moves mountains and Jesus still walks beside the weary. The world might rush past you, but heaven sees you. The Lord is calling your name, not to rush you, but to remind you that it's not too late. The time is now, not just for a financial breakthrough, but for peace, clarity, and unshakable faith. When God gives, He gives fully, not in pieces or leftovers. And today, He's reminding you that the door is not closing. It's opening, wide and full of light, calling you to step through with courage. Type 333 to claim miracles. Sometimes blessings look nothing like what we expected, yet they are exactly what we needed. The Lord works in ways that often seem hidden, but His fingerprints are on every detail of our journey. Maybe you've been walking through a season where everything felt quiet, where it seemed like prayers were going unanswered and heaven was silent. But silence doesn't mean absence. In the stillness, God was working. Behind the scenes, He's been preparing something for you that is so deeply personal, so full of His goodness, that it will make every waiting moment worth it. You are not forgotten, not even for a second. The world may have passed you by, but the eyes of the Lord never looked away. He knows every tear that fell, every breath you took when your heart was heavy, and every time you chose to trust Him even when it hurt. That kind of faith never goes unnoticed. It is seen, honored, and rewarded by heaven. And now, He's saying, open this first, because what He's about to release is tied to your obedience, your trust, and your willingness to believe again. There are times when what we need most is not more, but peace, a kind of peace that settles in our spirit and reminds us that everything is under control, even if we can't see how. God's peace is like a river that never runs dry. It doesn't rush in and then disappear, it stays. It fills the spaces where fear once lived. It reaches into places we've closed off, healing wounds we thought were permanent. When you choose to believe what God says, that peace begins to take root. It begins to spread like light through darkness, reminding you that you are safe in His hands. He is the God who provides, who restores, who heals what doctors couldn't fix, and lifts what seemed too heavy to carry. Maybe your prayer wasn't for money at all, but for sleep after restless nights, for comfort when you felt alone, or for clarity when your mind was racing. That's the kind of miracle God gives, personal, perfect, and always right on time. His blessings aren't one size fits all. They are shaped exactly for your story, your need, your heart. And even now, He's pouring out what you didn't even know you needed. There's a reason your spirit feels drawn to this moment. There's a reason you felt something stir when you opened this. It's not random. It's divine. God knows how to speak to you in ways that bypass the noise of the world and reach straight into your heart. This is one of those moments, a whisper from heaven, a gentle reminder that you're not too far gone, not too late, and not out of reach. Grace still flows freely, mercy still runs deep, and you are still loved, no matter how broken you feel. Type 1212 if you believe in His plan for you. Let go of the fear that nothing will change. Let go of the voice that says you'll always be stuck. God is not limited by your past, by your failures, or by your circumstances. When He says a blessing is coming, He means it. And it's not something you'll have to fight for with your own strength. He fights for you. He defends you. He clears paths that you didn't even know were blocked. The victory belongs to Him, and because you are His child, it belongs to you too. Maybe others have walked away. Maybe you've heard more no's than yeses. Maybe the door you've been knocking on hasn't opened. But God is not like people. He doesn't leave. He doesn't change His mind. He doesn't forget. What He has prepared for you has your name on it, and no one else can take it. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to say yes. Yes to His timing. Yes to His way. Yes to trusting that even when you don't understand, He is still good. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where something new begins, where old things lose their grip and hope starts to breathe again. You were created for more than just surviving. You were made to live, to love, to grow, to overcome. And you are not doing it alone. Jesus walks with you through every shadow, through every storm, through every silent night. His hands are steady, his heart is kind, and his love is deeper than you could ever imagine. If your heart has been weary, if your days have felt long, if you've been waiting for a sign that things are going to get better, this is it. This is your reminder that you were seen, even when you felt invisible, that you were heard, even when your prayers were quiet, that something beautiful is still possible, even from the ashes. Do not lose hope. Do not give up. Something good is on the way, and you are closer than you think. The treasure he speaks of may not come in bills or coins, but in waves of peace, in restoration of what was lost, in answers you've been praying for in silence. It's not too late. It's not over. You haven't missed it. God's promise is still alive and reaching toward you right now. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. You may be wondering why this message found you in this moment. There are no accidents in the kingdom of God. Every word that reaches your soul is part of a much larger design. You've been carried through storms that should have broken you, yet here you are breathing, standing, still hoping. That's not weakness, that's strength, that's faith. And faith like that does not go unnoticed by the heart of God. He's been keeping track of every battle you fought in silence, every time you chose love instead of bitterness, and every moment you trusted him without seeing a single result. Heaven remembers. God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for your hand in his. He doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He just wants you to be willing to let him walk with you through the unknown. Sometimes the greatest gift he gives us is not a solution, but a presence, his presence. And in that presence, fears melt, confusion clears, and burdens are lifted. He knows exactly what your heart longs for, even if you've buried that longing under years of disappointment. And still, he is not discouraged by the weight of your pain. He is drawn to it, not to judge, but to heal. You may feel like you've waited too long, or maybe you feel like you've already lost too much, but God doesn't measure time the way we do. He can redeem years in a moment. He can bring back what was lost and make it even better than before. Sometimes, the miracle isn't just getting what you asked for, but realizing that what he had planned was far more beautiful. And when he says something is coming, your only job is to be ready to receive. Let go of the need to control the process. The God who created time itself is not bound by it. He knows exactly when to release your breakthrough. You have walked through days that felt like deserts, but even in those dry places, seeds were being planted. Seeds of faith, hope, endurance, and grace. And now, the rain is coming. Slowly, quietly, but surely. The season is changing. The waiting is turning into receiving. The heartbreak is turning into healing. There is a shift in the atmosphere around your life, not because you earned it, but because God is good and he never forgets his promises. He has not forgotten you. Not your name, not your tears, not your prayers. You are still on his heart, still in his plan. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. When Jesus walked this earth, he didn't seek the proud or the powerful. He went to the broken, the weary, the forgotten. He met people in their lowest moments and called them by name. That same Jesus is near you now. He's not asking for a perfect prayer. He's just asking for your heart, even if it's tired, even if it's scarred. He wants to lift the weight you've been carrying and remind you that you were never meant to do this alone. His arms are open, wide and waiting. All you need to do is lean in. Your breakthrough might not come with thunder or lightning. It may arrive in quiet moments, a sudden sense of peace, a call you weren't expecting, a door opening after months of silence. Don't miss the miracle just because it looks different than you imagined. God's ways are higher. His plans stretch beyond the limits of what we see. What feels delayed is often just being prepared. And what feels lost is often being preserved. He has not forgotten, He is faithful, and He is moving even now. The Lord wants you to remember that there is nothing too broken for Him to restore, no mistake too big for Him to forgive, no past too dark for Him to redeem. He is not a God of shame. He is a God of fresh starts. He specializes in beginnings that come after endings. You don't need to clean yourself up to come to Him. Come as you are. Messy, wounded, confused. That's where grace meets you, and grace never leaves you the same. There's a quiet strength being built in you, even through the struggles. You are learning to stand, not in your own strength, but in His. You are learning that peace doesn't come from everything going right, but from knowing that even when it doesn't, God is still with you. That kind of peace is unshakable. That kind of peace is what He wants to give you today. Not tomorrow, not when things are better, but right now in the middle of it all. So breathe, release. Rest in the truth that God is not done with you. You are still being held together by a love that is bigger than your doubts. A love that keeps showing up. A love that will never walk away. Even when your faith is hanging by a thread, His grip on you is still strong. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Let this be your moment to believe again, to say yes again, to open your heart wide without fear and let hope rush back in. You don't have to figure it all out, just keep walking. But He is not only speaking about wealth as the world defines it. He is speaking of fullness, of healing that touches the corners of your heart you forgot existed, of peace that enters rooms filled with fear, and of joy that begins to rise even after years of sorrow. This message is not here by accident. You didn't just scroll into this. You were led here, guided here, called here, because God knows the exact moment when you're ready to receive what He has prepared. Type 1919 to receive miracles. This world is loud, fast, and demanding, and sometimes you forget what it's like to pause, breathe, and remember who holds the universe in His hands. But God has never forgotten you. He hasn't moved from your side. In fact, He's been closer than you realized in the moments when you felt most alone. When others turned away, when the door closed, when your heart broke quietly in the dark, He was there. You may have thought no one noticed your silent pain, but heaven saw it. And heaven responded not with anger, not with punishment, but with love deeper than the ocean and stronger than death. There are times when life drains you until you feel empty, like your prayers are too tired, your faith too thin, and your hope too distant. But here is the beauty of God's grace. It doesn't ask for strength. It shows up where you are, as you are, and begins to rebuild you. Brick by brick, piece by piece, it finds the shattered places and begins the holy work of healing. Even now, something within you is stirring again, maybe just a little. That's hope. That's the Spirit moving gently inside you, reminding you that this is not the end of your story. When God speaks about giving, He's not talking about things that fade or fall apart. He's talking about what lasts. He's talking about comfort when you're grieving, calm when everything is shaking, and favor that no one can steal. He wants to give you more than you've asked for, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. And who He is always love, always faithful, always kind. His heart isn't to rush you. His desire is to lead you gently, to open your eyes to the blessing already forming around you. Maybe right now you feel like your life is standing still while others move forward. Maybe you've smiled while aching inside, pretending you're okay when you're running out of strength. But you don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to keep carrying it all alone. God didn't create you to live in constant fear or to walk through life weighed down by invisible battles. He created you to walk with Him, to lean on Him, to let Him carry what you were never meant to hold. Type yes to affirm. Even now, the hands of God are shaping something new for you, something beautiful, something sacred. He is not late. He is not absent. He is patient, and He is always working even in the waiting. Sometimes the waiting feels heavy, like a weight on your chest, like silence that won't break. But even when it seems like nothing is changing, the roots are growing deeper. He's preparing you to hold the blessing, not just receive it, but hold it with strength and with wisdom. And when the time is right, when your heart is ready, it will come. The breakthrough you're waiting for may not come in a way you expect. It may not arrive through what you imagined, but it will come in the perfect way, because God's timing is not just good, it's flawless. He sees everything you can't. He knows every thread of your life's tapestry, and He is weaving it together for something beautiful. You won't always understand the steps, but you will one day look back and see how every moment brought you closer to Him and to the life He meant for you all along. You are not just hoping in the dark. You are standing in the light of a promise, a real promise, spoken by a God who cannot lie, who never breaks His word, and who knows exactly how to bring your story into fullness. You've come this far not by chance but by grace, and grace will carry you forward. So keep believing, even if it's quiet. Keep hoping, even if it hurts, because what's coming is not empty. It's full of restoration, of joy, of peace that stays. It's full of answered prayers and brand new beginnings. He doesn't want you to just survive. He wants you to live. You were not created to constantly worry, to walk in fear, or to feel like you're always behind. You were created to walk beside Him, to be held by Him, and to know without doubt that you are cherished. Not for what you do, but for who you are. You are His. And being His means you are safe, protected, and surrounded by mercy every single day. You are not behind schedule. You are right where He can find you. So when you feel tired of waiting, remember this: God is never early and He's never late. He is always right on time. And when He tells you to open something first, it's not because you'll miss out, it's because He wants you to receive it in fullness, not rushed, not halfway, but with open hands and a full heart, knowing that what you're receiving is from His heart to yours, not random, not temporary, but lasting, transforming, real. It's about joy so deep that it revives your spirit, peace so full that it silences every fear, and restoration so complete that you feel like you've stepped into a brand new life. It's about blessings that fill not just your hands but your heart, your family, your days, and your future. This moment isn't ordinary. It's sacred, chosen, full of quiet power and gentle truth. Type 2323 if you agree. You may be carrying the weight of years of hopes deferred, of battles lost, of dreams laid down. Maybe you've learned to expect little, to prepare for disappointment, to keep your heart guarded even in prayer. But God is not like the world. He doesn't lift you up only to let you fall again. He doesn't stir your heart for no reason. If you feel that quiet pull right now, that stirring in your chest as you read these words, that's Him. That's His Spirit calling you deeper, whispering, "Something is coming. Don't give up now. Stay close." So often we measure our worth by what we can see, what we've achieved, or how others respond to us. But God looks at the heart, and even if yours is tired or doubting or scarred by disappointment, He calls it beautiful because He sees beyond the surface. He sees the fight in your spirit, the love that hasn't quit, the quiet faith that refused to die even in the darkest nights. And it is that faith, even the smallest flicker of it, that opens the door to what He wants to pour into your life. Sometimes the greatest battles are fought in silence, behind smiles, behind routines, behind, "I'm fine." But God sees past all of that. He knows where it hurts. He knows the long nights, the quiet tears, the unanswered questions, and He's not distant from your pain. He's right in it with you, walking beside you, holding you steady when your legs feel too weak to move forward. His voice might be soft, but it is sure, and when He says, "Open," it means He has something ready that your heart has been waiting for. Type 2020 to claim miracles. What if everything changes from this moment? Not suddenly, not all at once, but quietly, powerfully, steadily. That's how God often works. He begins in the unseen. Roots grow underground before the flowers bloom. Light breaks slowly before the morning is fully bright, and healing often begins with a single choice: to believe again, to hope again, to let your heart crack open just wide enough for love to slip in. You don't have to be strong for God to move. You just have to be willing. He loves to work with broken things. He's the master of turning ruins into gardens, of breathing life into dry bones, of turning storms into testimonies. The parts of your life that feel unfinished or wasted, He's not afraid of them. He's not disappointed. In fact, those are the very places He plans to touch first. Where you see emptiness, He sees space for miracles. Where you see delay, He sees preparation. And when you say yes to Him, even in your fear, something begins to shift. You don't have to feel it immediately. You don't even have to understand it. Faith isn't about feelings. It's about trust. Trust that He's already at work. Trust that your name is known in heaven. Trust that the blessings already have your address, your timing, your name written on them. Trust that God isn't figuring it out. He's already written the end of your story, and it ends in glory, not despair. You might be thinking, but I've waited so long. Yes, you have. But waiting isn't wasted, not with God. Every day you stayed kind when bitterness knocked. Every time you prayed through tears. Every moment you kept walking, even when you didn't feel strong, that wasn't for nothing. That was your preparation. That was your refining. And that is why now, when the blessing begins to unfold, you'll be able to receive it fully, not just with your hands, but with a heart ready to hold it with grace and gratitude. God doesn't forget the faithful. He doesn't forget the tired mother still believing for her children. He doesn't forget the quiet man who prays in the dark for a door to open. He doesn't forget the soul who keeps showing up to life, even when it hurts. You may feel invisible to the world, but heaven has never taken its eyes off you. You are deeply seen. You are wildly loved. And right now you are closer than ever to the breakthrough that your soul has been aching for. Let that truth wash over you. Let it calm the chaos in your thoughts. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are exactly where God can reach you, lift you, restore you, and bless you. All He asks is that you stay open. Open to His love. Open to His leading. Open to the idea that maybe, just maybe, the best part of your life isn't over, it's just beginning. So open this moment. Receive it like a letter from the Father's heart. Let it be your turning point. Not because the words are magical, but because the Spirit behind them is real. Because God is real, and He is near, and He is moving. Even if you can't see it yet, believe it. Speak it. Claim it. Your season is shifting. Your time is coming. And your life, from this point forward, is being wrapped in a new kind of favor, the kind that only heaven can send. Sometimes it's held in the heart, in the form of peace you never thought you'd feel again, in strength that surprises you when you thought you had nothing left, and in blessings that quietly repair the broken pieces inside you. When God speaks this way, it's not to scare or rush you, but to invite you into something holy, something real, something that's already moving toward you. Type Amen if you believe. There are days when life feels like a quiet ache, when everything you hoped for seems to be standing just out of reach. You try to stay strong, try to keep your faith alive, but deep down you wonder if the answers are still coming, if the promise is still true. But God sees that. He understands the silent struggle behind your smile, and He wants you to know this: you haven't been forgotten. What you're waiting for hasn't been denied. It's just been protected, held in His perfect timing, for your good. You've asked Him for things: healing, provision, restoration, direction. And while you may not have seen the results yet, it doesn't mean He hasn't moved. It just means He's been building something stronger, deeper, and longer lasting than what you asked for. He's not just preparing the blessing, He's preparing you to carry it, to receive it with peace, to hold it with wisdom, to walk in it without fear. What the enemy tried to use to break you, God is turning into the very place He will bless you. That closed door, it protected you. That unanswered prayer, it redirected you. That long silent season, it refined you. And now, He's ready to restore everything you lost, not just to return it, but to multiply it. God doesn't just give back, He gives back better. He replaces sorrow with joy. He replaces loss with purpose. He turns confusion into clarity. That's the kind of richness He wants to give you today. You're not just standing at the edge of something new, you're standing in a moment that heaven has been planning. Every tear you've cried, every step you've taken in faith, every time you chose to believe when it didn't make sense, it all led you here. This isn't random. This is redemption. This is God taking the ashes of your life and creating something that glows with grace, something beautiful, something lasting. Type 1111 if you trust in God. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. You don't have to figure out the steps. All you have to do is stay close to Him. Let Him lead. Let Him surprise you with goodness. Sometimes the miracle is waiting just on the other side of surrender. Sometimes it's in that moment when you say, God, I don't understand, but I still trust you, that everything begins to shift. Your trust isn't small, it's a key, and heaven responds to it every time. You've carried burdens that no one else knew about. You've kept going when giving up seemed easier. That resilience didn't go unnoticed. God saw the courage it took to keep believing, and He honors that. Now He's ready to lift you higher, to bring you into a season where what was heavy becomes light, where what was confusing becomes clear, and where what was broken begins to bloom again. His love isn't distant or delayed, it's here, right now, wrapping around you like a quiet embrace, reminding you that you are safe, you are seen, and you are still on the path He designed. You don't need to chase after blessings, they're chasing after you. All you need to do is keep walking, one step at a time, one breath at a time, with Him. Even when you feel like you're running out of faith, He's not running out of grace. His mercy meets you every morning, whether you feel strong or fragile. And His promises aren't based on your perfection, they're based on His love. A love that doesn't falter, doesn't give up, and doesn't walk away. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign. Maybe you've asked God to show you just one small thing to prove He hasn't forgotten you. Let this message be that sign. Let these words wrap around your heart like a promise whispered directly from heaven. Because they are. They're not just words on a screen. They're a confirmation that yes, something good is coming. That yes, your breakthrough is near. That yes, the prayers you whispered when no one else was listening have been heard. You don't need to strive to earn God's attention. You already have it. His eyes have never left you. His plans for you haven't changed. And even though it feels like you've been walking through wilderness, there's a promised land up ahead, not just in theory, but in reality. A place of peace, of provision, of healing, of joy that you thought was gone forever. So take a deep breath and let hope come back in. Let it rise again, slowly if it needs to, quietly if it must. Just let it rise, because this is not the end. This is not the full story. This is only the turning point. And what comes next will be worth everything it took to get here. God is not only restoring what you lost, He's restoring who you are. The parts of you that were dimmed by pain, the dreams that faded in the shadows, the voice that grew quiet under the weight of waiting, all of that is coming back to life, not because you forced it, but because God is breathing over you again, gently, faithfully, powerfully. Let that truth hold you tonight, or this morning, or whenever your heart needs it. He's not late. He's not gone. He's right here, already making a way, already speaking peace into the storm, already sending help where you can't see. And what's coming? It's better than anything you've imagined. because it's coming straight from his heart, something that reaches deep into your soul and fills the emptiness the world could never touch. This amount isn't only found in bank accounts or material things, it's found in peace that makes no sense, in healing you thought would never come, and in love that finds you in the middle of your lowest valley and says, "You are still mine." Type 222 if you believe his promises are for you. Somewhere along the way, maybe you started to believe that miracles were for other people. Maybe your heart grew quiet, afraid to hope again. Maybe life wore you down, not in one big moment, but slowly, like waves pulling at the shore. You've been faithful, even when things didn't make sense. You've stood when others would have walked away. And still, it's felt like the answers have taken so long. But the delay doesn't mean denial. God has never forgotten the prayers you prayed in private, and he has never ignored the ache behind your silence. Every seed you've planted through faith, through tears, through nights of choosing to believe anyway, is about to bloom. It may feel like nothing has changed, but the shift is already happening. In the places you can't see yet, doors are unlocking, chains are breaking, and blessings are beginning to take shape. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. Some of God's greatest works begin quietly, under the surface, in the stillness where only he is moving. You might be thinking about how much time has passed, how many chances you think you've missed, or how many times things didn't work out. But God doesn't operate in regret. He operates in redemption. He restores the years the world tried to take from you. He rebuilds what was torn down, and he does it with tenderness, with patience, with grace that surprises you even when you feel least worthy. His voice is not loud or harsh. It's gentle, like a whisper that calms a storm. And right now, he's whispering over your life, "I'm not done. I've only just begun." The enemy wanted you to believe it was over, that nothing good was left, that it was too late. But the enemy is not the author of your story, God is. And the author says the best is yet to come. Type 555 if you're ready to receive what God has prepared for you. There's a kind of strength God builds in the waiting. Not a strength made of walls and silence, but one made of softness and trust. The kind of strength that lets you wake up and keep trying. The kind that lets you smile when nothing has changed yet. The kind that keeps your heart open when the world tries to make it hard. That's the strength you carry, even if you don't feel it yet. That's the strength that God honors. This moment right now, this small pause in your day to read these words, it's not small to God. He sees you, he sees your faith, and he's not letting it fall to the ground. He's breathing life into the places that felt dry. He's touching your story in ways you can't imagine. And soon, you'll see what he's been doing all along. The breakthroughs, the healing, the favor, it's not far. It's close. So close that you're starting to feel it in your spirit, like a sunrise pushing away the shadows. The enemy wanted you tired. God is giving you rest. The enemy wanted you bitter. God is teaching you to forgive. The enemy wanted you hopeless. God is filling you with joy. You are not who you were when the storm started. You are wiser now, softer but stronger. Your faith has roots, and your heart has survived things it wasn't sure it could. That matters. It matters to God, and it matters to the future he's leading you into. He's not wasting a single tear, a single day, a single step. It's all part of what he's working together for your good. Sometimes we think God only moves in the big dramatic moments, but he often moves in the quietest spaces, in the middle of your doubts, in the hours where nothing seems to be happening. That's where his spirit hovers, comforting you, shaping you, preparing you. So don't be discouraged if things still look the same on the outside. Something holy is happening on the inside, and soon it will spill over into every part of your life. There are people being moved into your path who will help you. There are situations that are about to shift in your favor. There are prayers you forgot you prayed that are being answered. It may not happen the way you imagined, but it will happen in the way that's best for you. God never does less than what's needed. He always does more. So hold on. Not because it's easy, but because you're closer than ever. Hold on because He's coming through for you. And when He does, it won't be halfway. It'll be full, overflowing, pressed down and running over. He won't just bless you, He'll bless those connected to you, your family, your future, your peace of mind. He's working on all of it, even now. Take a moment, right now, and breathe in that truth. Let it settle into your spirit. You're not at the end of your strength, you're at the edge of your miracle. And when God says something is coming, He means it, not in a vague, distant way, but in a very real, very personal, very present way. You're not just going to make it, you're going to rise, you're going to heal, you're going to walk in things you once only dreamed of. He's offering fullness that touches every corner of your life, peace that replaces panic, joy that lifts sorrow, provision that answers prayers, and healing that runs deep. What He's placing in your hands is not always seen first with the eyes, but felt in the heart, where true treasures live. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. There's something powerful about reaching this moment. You've walked through more than most people know. You've had days when the tears didn't stop, nights when sleep never came, and seasons when you didn't know how you'd make it to tomorrow. And yet, here you are, still standing, still holding on. That's not weakness. That's the evidence of God's hand carrying you, even when you thought He was silent. He was never absent. He was building something in you that couldn't be shaken. There's a richness in being held through the storm that money can't buy. There's a blessing in being kept, even when everything else was breaking. And those blessings, those quiet, sacred gifts are the ones that last forever. God is saying, open your heart again. Open it, even if it feels risky. Open it, even if it's tired. Because what's coming next isn't another loss, it's restoration. It's beauty for ashes. It's laughter that returns to the places where grief made a home. You might not have felt it yet, but something inside you is beginning to shift. That's not just emotion. That's your spirit responding to God's voice. And His voice is calling you forward, not to earn a blessing, but to receive it. You don't have to beg for what He already wants to give. You don't have to prove anything to be worthy of His love. You already are, right now, as you are, with the doubts, with the fear, with the questions. He loves you still. You may have tried to convince yourself that maybe God's promises weren't really meant for you, that maybe you missed your moment, that maybe others were chosen, but not you. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you are part of His plan. You are included in His goodness. You are seen, cherished, and pursued by the God who shaped the stars and still knows the exact number of hairs on your head. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to heaven. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. If you've been feeling stuck, it's not because you're failing, it's because something new is beginning. When God starts to shift your life, it doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels like silence. Sometimes it feels like waiting. But it's not a punishment, it's preparation. He's making room inside your heart to hold what He's about to give, because when it arrives, it won't just meet one need, it will overflow into every area of your life. That's how He works abundantly, fully, completely. You might not understand the timing, but you don't need to. You only need to trust that the God who began the work will finish it, and He will. He doesn't start something and leave it halfway. He doesn't forget the ones who wait on Him. He lifts them, honors them, surprises them with joy that comes out of nowhere, with open doors that no one else could unlock. And when He moves, it's unmistakable. So if your hands feel empty right now, don't be discouraged. Sometimes God clears space before He fills it. Sometimes He removes what was never meant to stay, not to hurt you, but to bless you better. And when that blessing comes, it will be perfect. It will fit the exact shape of the space in your heart that's been longing, aching, and quietly believing. It will come not as a reward for being perfect, but as a gift for being faithful. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not wrong for wondering how long it will take. You are human, and God, in all His power, loves you in all your humanness. He made you with care. He shaped your soul with tenderness, and every step of your journey has mattered to Him, even the ones you regret, even the ones you don't talk about. He saw them. He never left. And He's still here, offering you more, not more pressure, but more peace, not more worry, but more wisdom, not more pain, but more purpose. Let that truth settle in your heart like sunlight through the window. You are held, you are loved, you are seen, and you are about to walk into something beautiful. Not because the road was easy, but because you chose to keep going. Because you chose to keep your heart open, even when it hurt. Because you dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, God still had more in store for you, and He does. He has more healing, more answers, more provision, more comfort, more strength, more grace, more love. He's not finished with you, not even close. You're stepping into a new season now, not just of change, but of clarity. Not just of movement, but of meaning. Everything you've been through is going to be used. Nothing will be wasted. The tears, the waiting, the closed doors, they'll all make sense soon, because God never lets pain have the final word. His word is always love, always peace, always redemption. It's about waking up with peace instead of panic. It's about no longer living in fear of what might go wrong, but walking in confidence that God is holding everything together. The greatest kind of wealth is knowing you are loved, protected, and cared for by the one who never sleeps, never fails, and never walks away. Type 1919 to receive miracles. Sometimes the blessings of God arrive quietly, without fanfare. They slip into your day in small ways. A moment of calm when everything felt heavy, a whisper of peace when your mind was crowded with worry, or a smile from someone who didn't know how much you needed it. These little signs are the gentle hand of God reminding you that He's still here, still moving, still working things out for your good. You don't always have to feel it to know it's real. Faith is trusting that God is active, even when the silence feels long. You might be in a season that feels like waiting for answers, waiting for healing, waiting for a sign that something will finally shift. And that waiting can feel like standing still, like everything around you is moving while you remain stuck in place. But you're not stuck. You're being rooted. God is not delaying your blessing. He's preparing it. He's preparing you, so when it comes, you will be ready to carry it with strength, with peace, and with purpose. Don't underestimate the power of what God is doing in the background. The prayers you whispered in your weakest moments didn't fall into empty air. They reached the throne of heaven and they stirred the heart of your Father. He didn't ignore you. He didn't forget. He wrote those prayers into His plans for you, and He is unfolding the answers, step by step, layer by layer. Trust the process, even if it doesn't look the way you imagined. God's way is better. His plan is fuller. His timing is flawless. Type yes to affirm. If you've been weary lately, if the days have felt long and your strength has felt thin, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not failing. Fatigue doesn't mean you've lost faith. It means you've been fighting long, loving deeply, and giving all you have and that matters to God. He's not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be honest with Him. Tell Him you're tired. Tell Him you're unsure, and then let Him lift you. Let Him renew your strength like only He can. Sometimes we feel like we have to earn our miracles, like we have to prove ourselves or get everything in order before God steps in. But that's not how grace works. Grace meets you where you are. Grace doesn't wait until you're ready. It shows up when you're in need. Right now, as you are, grace is pouring over your life. Grace that opens doors. Grace that heals wounds. Grace that removes guilt. grace that brings light back into the dark corners of your heart. God's love for you is not fragile. It's not based on your performance or your past. His love is constant, strong, and anchored in eternity. Even when you wander, He waits for you. Even when you doubt, He still believes in you. Even when you're silent, He listens for your heartbeat. That's the kind of love that restores you. That's the kind of love that picks you up from the ground and reminds you that you are still called, still chosen, still part of His plan. Maybe you've lost things, people, time, joy. Maybe life didn't turn out the way you hoped, and now you're trying to piece together a future with broken parts. But don't you know that God makes masterpieces out of brokenness? That He creates beauty out of ashes? That He rebuilds what was torn down, not into what it was before, but into something even better? Your story is not over. It's just taking a turn you didn't expect. But the author is still good, and he's still writing. Even in this very moment, something inside you is being stirred again. Maybe it's hope, maybe it's faith. Maybe it's the quiet realization that your life matters, your presence matters, and your pain has a purpose. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped. You're being prepared for more. And not just any more, God's more. The kind that satisfies your soul, not just your needs. The kind that heals your heart, not just your circumstances. The kind that lasts, because it comes from Him. So don't let discouragement drown out the truth. Don't let fear tell you your best days are behind you. They're not. They are ahead, and they're closer than you think. This season may feel like a valley, but valleys are where things grow. This chapter may feel unfinished, but the next page is coming. And when it turns, you'll see that the weight, the pain, and even the silence were not empty. They were sacred. They were part of how God was preparing you for the blessing you're about to receive. God's promise still stands. Not because of who you are, but because of who He is. He doesn't change His mind. He doesn't break His word. And He never runs out of ways to surprise you with His goodness. So even now, if all you can do is whisper, "I trust you," that's enough. That's the kind of faith heaven responds to. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains, opens doors, and brings miracles right into the middle of ordinary days. Open it quickly, or it will be too late. But this is more than a call to receive, it's an invitation to believe again. A chance to release your worries, your fears, your doubts, and simply trust that something bigger than your struggle is already at work. This is not just about a sudden gift or a breakthrough you can see. It's about a deep, quiet shift in your life, a turning point where heaven touches earth in your story and begins to restore all that felt lost. Type Amen if you believe. You may not feel like anything is changing, but so much of God's work begins in the unseen. Seeds are planted long before they bloom. Foundations are built long before you ever step into the house, and hearts are healed long before the outside world notices. This moment you're in, it matters, even if it feels ordinary, even if it's filled with more questions than answers. God is here, and He's not still because He's absent. He's still because He's steady. He's working, shaping, preparing, and guarding what's yours until the moment is right. Maybe you felt like too much time has passed. Maybe you think you've missed your chance, or that your mistakes disqualified you. But God doesn't work like that. He doesn't cross names off His list. He doesn't rewrite His promises to leave you out. If He said it, He meant it. If He promised it, it's still coming. The delay is never a denial. It's a gentle pause, an act of protection, a preparation, so the blessing lasts when it arrives. You haven't missed it. You're right on time in the hands of a God who makes all things new. There is no mistake too big for His mercy. There is no regret too deep for His grace. Maybe you feel like you've been stuck in a season of silence, wondering why God hasn't answered. But even in silence, He is speaking through peace, through stillness, through the strength He's building in you. He's not punishing you. He's purifying what's around you and within you. He's teaching you how to stand, how to wait, how to trust without seeing, and how to receive without fear. Type 1111 if you trust in God. Right now, your name is still written in His plan. You haven't fallen off the path, even if it feels like you've taken a few wrong turns. He knows every step you've taken, every moment of courage, every hidden cry for help. And not one of those moments is wasted. Each one is counted, each one is held, each one is turning into something holy, something meaningful, something beautiful that only He could create from the pieces you thought were broken. Sometimes we look for miracles in the thunder, in the flashes of light, in the loud and sudden moments. But often, they come softly, in the peace that shows up after a restless night, in the unexpected kindness of a stranger, in the strength to keep going when you don't feel strong. Those are miracles too. Don't overlook them. Don't miss the quiet blessings because you were waiting for a loud answer. God's voice is often a whisper, but it carries the power to change everything. You may not know what to pray anymore. Maybe your words have run out, and you feel like your faith is wearing thin. But God isn't measuring your prayers by their length or your faith by its volume. Even a sigh can reach Him. Even a tear can be heard. Even the silence of a surrendered heart speaks louder than 1,000 words, and He listens. He listens with love, with patience, with understanding. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to be willing to believe that He's still good. If your heart feels fragile right now, if you're afraid to hope again, know this: it's okay to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to walk slowly, to heal quietly, to trust at your own pace. God isn't rushing you. He's walking with you, matching your steps, steadying your heart, guiding you with compassion. He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. And when He delivers, it won't be partial. It will be full, overflowing, more than enough. Your future is not in the hands of your past. It's in the hands of your Savior, and those hands are kind, strong, and forever faithful. You might not see what's coming, but you can rest in who is coming with it, God Himself. The one who's been with you in every valley, the one who's whispered comfort in your deepest nights, the one who is preparing something so beautiful, so complete, so filled with goodness, that you'll look back and see that none of the pain was wasted. You've grown through every trial. Your heart has expanded in ways you never thought possible. Your faith has roots now deep and unshakable, and that matters. That's the part God treasures. The quiet faith that kept showing up, the soft yes in the middle of the waiting, the trust that didn't come easily but came anyway. Heaven sees it all, and heaven responds to that kind of faith. So let this moment be one of release. Release the fear, the pressure, the timeline. Release the worry about how it will happen. Let go of the weight you were never meant to carry. God's got this. He always has. His timing is perfect, His plans are personal, and His love for you is unshakable. You can rest in that, you can trust that, you can build your hope on that, even now. This is your reminder that you are not behind, not forgotten, not disqualified. You are loved, you are chosen, you are held, and something beautiful is being prepared with your name on it. Stay open, stay willing, stay expectant, because God's not done, and what's next will be worth every minute of the wait. There are blessings that have been following you, even through the seasons where you felt too broken to look behind. There are prayers that were sown into the ground of faith, watered by your tears, and they're starting to break through the surface. You may not see the full bloom yet, but the soil is moving. Heaven has already said yes, even if earth hasn't caught up to the miracle yet. And God wants you to know it's closer than it feels. You didn't miss your chance. You didn't fall too far. You haven't waited too long. In fact, everything you've been through has prepared you to receive more, not less. The delay wasn't a punishment, it was protection. There were things God needed to shield you from before the blessing came. The voice of the one He is removing will grow quieter with each day. Not because they've stopped speaking, but because your heart is no longer tuned to their frequency. It's tuned to Him now. You're learning to hear your shepherd's voice again, to trust His guidance, to follow His peace. And that, more than anything, is what the enemy feared most, your full return to the presence of God without distraction, without interference, without being pulled back into emotional prisons. There may be people who won't understand this shift. They might accuse you of turning cold, of giving up too easily. But you don't have to explain what God has made clear. You don't have to defend a decision that Jesus Himself made for you. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You have nothing to prove when you're walking in obedience. You will start to breathe differently. Not just physically, but spiritually. The pressure that once clung to you like a fog will lift. The spiritual tension you felt in their presence will dissolve. Your body, your heart, your mind, everything in you will begin to recognize the peace of not living under that shadow anymore. This person may try to pull you back in. They may reach out, not with repentance, but with confusion or even blame. But remember, peace is not something you negotiate. It is something you protect. You owe no one access to your healing if their presence was the reason you needed it in the first place. Jesus has already gone ahead of you. He's placed new people along the road you're about to walk. People who will see you clearly. People who will love you well. People who won't require you to carry pain just to stay connected. You're not walking into loneliness. You're walking into wholeness. The noise in your heart will quiet. You'll sleep more soundly. You'll begin to dream again, not just while you rest, but while you're awake. You'll start to imagine what life can look like without fear, without chaos, without the constant pressure to keep peace in a place that refused to be peaceful. This moment is more than a break from someone. It's the beginning of God's rebuild in your life. Foundations are being set, new joy is being poured in, hidden gifts are being stirred up. Where there was once sorrow, laughter will echo again. Where there was once heaviness, lightness will return, slowly, surely, and deeply. And as that happens, you'll begin to feel it gratitude, not for the pain, but for the deliverance. Not for the person, but for the God who rescued you. You'll look back and realize you survived what tried to shape your identity. You'll see how Jesus shielded you even when you didn't know you needed it. And that gratitude will turn into worship, not just with words, but with the way you live, love, and move forward in His grace. Their influence, their words, their energy, and their spirit have stood in the way of the peace Jesus has been trying to give you. That barrier is now being broken. You don't have to push, pull, or beg. It's already being done for you, not to you. What your family couldn't speak about, what your heart carried without understanding, what your soul inherited without choice, it's all being brought to the surface not to cause pain, but to finally give you rest. And you deserve that rest. Not because you've worked for it, not because you've figured it all out, but because you are loved by a God who gives freely and heals completely. You are not meant to live in fear of repeating the past. You are being led into freedom. And freedom doesn't mean forgetting. It means being able to look at what was and still move forward with peace. It means understanding the brokenness and choosing, in love, to walk a different road. That is the courage you are showing right now. That is the healing you are stepping into.